Welcome back. I want to talk about something now called nation brands, and here it comes. South Africa's global brand value has increased by 5%. What does that mean? It's also moved up a place on the Brand Finance Nations Brand Index. An increase in second quarter GDP is said to be somewhat responsible for that improvement. But let's find out more about South Africa, but also other developing economies, and particularly Libya. I'm interested in Libya as to why it's the fastest growing nation brand. Jeremy Sampson, a very warm welcome to you. For the uninitiated, first of all, what is a nation brand?
Basically, Jeremy, you're talking about an individual country, and brand finance, which is international standards recognizes, puts a value, a financial value, and a brand strength value on each country. So this is published every year, and this is the top 100. You mentioned Libya, which has come off a low base, and as you know, Libya has been through turbulent times, especially post Mr. Gaddafi. But it's interesting how the North African countries generally are doing very strongly.
What are they doing differently to this geography, and what can we learn from those countries?
Well, first of all, they're stabilizing, and the prospects of the future look very good. Now, in your program this morning, you're talking about the Guptas, you're talking about all the things a former president that is bringing down the equity and the financial value of a country. And then you see this fantastic athletics earlier on this morning, which lifts the value of Kenya. So this is where these subtleties, these nuances have to be looked at. You're looking at the financial value, the GDP, and all those things from the IMF, and you're looking at the reputation and the strength.
Let me digress for a moment, because that really is interesting. That 1:59, which will forever be etched in sporting memory, has a halo effect, you're saying, on the bigger country of Kenya.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone, if you didn't quite know where Kenya was, and they've had fantastic athletes for a long time, but everyone is now looking at Kenya and the Kenyan athletes and where they come from, the way they're trained, the way they live at altitude, and doing this is fantastic, as you said, like the 4-minute mile.
Ditto, for instance, you could say with Ethiopia's leader winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Exactly. And then you hear in the news earlier this morning that at the World International Athletics Championships, we didn't win a single medal. Well, that pushes our value down. And this is where everything you hear in the media today impacts the brand and the nation brand.
So why then is this an important measure? Who takes heed of something like this?
Well, to give you an example, South Africa, Nigeria has overtaken South Africa for the first time. It's up to number 40 position. But between the two is Vietnam. Now, you've been there. You know what that country is like. They were in a war with the United States, only 30, 40 years ago, and they're embracing capitalism. It's a government objective, as of 2 days ago, to double the value of the brand.
There is an exhausting adherence to productivity in a country like Vietnam. The same can't be said here.
Well, in this country, we talk, we don't do. In Vietnam, they do, and they talk about it quietly. As I say, to double the value of the brand in the next 10 years, and that's become a government initiative which they've announced in the media 2 days ago after they saw these results.
All right. More broadly, if you take Vietnam out, if you take out South Africa, generally, as far as developing economies are concerned, your survey is a good news is a good news document.
It is a good news document, but it allows countries to measure themselves. We know that the States and Europe, for the base, basically are flat, but Asia is going strongly, and that's one of the reasons Japan has moved up into third place. But it's the emerging countries that are doing the best. They're growing at nearly 30%. South Africa has only grown at 5%. Now, South Africa is an emerging country. If we're doing 5 and the rest are doing 30, that's not very good.
Let me ask you a one-word question, if I can, and you'll have the answer. Brexit.
UK's gone down. And is the UK still going to be the UK in 2.5 weeks, let alone, And this is where, again, talking to people, what is short term, what is medium term, what is long term? Your previous guest was talking that. I think in the media, long term is a week. They say a week is a long time in politics. Well, come on, guys. That's what the rest of the world is doing. It's agile, it's fast. Brexit is destroying the British equity.
Haven't you shot yourself in the foot slightly by saying that the top turnaround country is Turkey, given what we're witnessing right now in its assault on the Kurds?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Jeremy, but these results were prepared probably a couple of months ago. And as you saw, Turkey's a huge turnaround, but what's going on today will impact it. And this is where, as you know, with news, timing is crucial. There's nothing worse than hearing about breaking news that you saw 2 or 3 days ago on Twitter or something like that. So you've got to be on song all the time.
All right, Singapore, final question, is the strongest nation brand. Am I right?
Second year running.
Why?
One of the key reasons is it's stable, its prospects are good, its healthcare, its education, its transport are all fantastic. And this is where if South Africa looked at those things, stability, future prospects, and then look at everything like education, healthcare, transport, it makes a huge impact, and people want to go and see you, and people want to talk about you.
Jeremy Sampson from Brand Finance, thank you for joining us this morning.